Hello, you lovely ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mengasa, and today I welcome you guys back to another Advanced Wars replay commentary. Apologies in advance for the weird lightning in this video. I'm in the process of moving, so I moved almost all of my stuff out of my house. That includes the blinds and all the lamps around here, so the lighting is completely whack. I get like sunlight straight through my window right now, which makes me look pale as a ghost. But I really wanted to record this video before moving out of my apartment, because this is from the finale of the ongoing Quack Cup. In case you guys are just tuning in, maybe you're new subscribers from the reboot camp, this is from a site called Advanced Wars by Web, which is hosting a tournament, and I am basically using a replay viewer to view the match back, and I'm gonna take you guys through it step by step. So the Quack Cup. Gimmick of this tournament is high funds, which means you get 2,000 income instead of the normal 1,000, and it also just has wild and weird gimmicks. I mean, just take a look at this map right now. Is this not the craziest thing you've ever seen? Pre-deployed cruisers, pre-deployed artillery, black boats, pipe seams, and of course it is mixed base, which means that action will take place all over the map. Before I talk about the map, let me just introduce my opponent real quick. His name is Ria Corvidia, or Ria Corvidiva. Diva. Maybe it's a she, I don't know. It's a diva. I think it sounds Spanish, I'm not sure. Around 1200 MMR, pretty strong opponent. And yeah, this is, as I said, the finale of the Quack Cup. So this is round 5. And the map is called Riposte. It is, as I said, it's absolutely massive. You have these two cruisers in the center here. And they're mostly there to just block battlecopters from going over to the other side. You actually have your bases really close to each other. Not like quite in like rocket reach, but they're pretty close. And you also have these two labs here. On Advanced Wars by Web, if there's labs on the map, they act as HQs. If there's several labs, you have to capture all the labs to win the match. Here, there's only one lab, so this is effectively our HQ, which is guarded by a single artillery, and it's actually more exposed than you may think. If you take a look at this, it's actually pretty easy to snatch the lab away from your opponent. So you have to be very careful so that doesn't happen. However, there are docks. And if you notice, you can build a battleship on these harbors to guard your lab, and this is exactly what you should do. So it actually becomes a rush to try and take down your opponent's dock. It's a wild map. Action takes place everywhere. You got these missiles here, which you can break out, but the missiles are actually pretty important too, because they guard the comm tower from battlecopter incursions. So you have so many various fronts taking place here. It's an absolute wild map. I think to explain the whole thing would take me an hour, but so I think I'm just going to let you guys see how it plays out during the match itself. But it ended up being a pretty wild match. So I think what I'm going to talk about now is the matchup. So the matchup, Adder versus Adder. I was not surprised to see that my opponent had picked Adder. I think this is a mistake that my last opponent made. You always want to pick movement COs and mixed base maps. They're just too good. The extra movement is too strong in a map such as this, where you have like 4 or 5 different fronts. It not only allows you to get a big advantage on multiple fronts, but also allows you to switch your forces, allows you to front switch. That basically means moving your army from one front to another. This is key when playing mixed base maps. Whoever can front switch better usually wins, and there's no better front switcher than Adder. So I think this was actually a tier 3 matchup, but we selected Adder because he's just that damn good. There's not really any point in selecting Cole because there's no many roads on this map, but I would say Adder is probably one of the best picks overall in this particular match. He is that damn good. So yeah, it's a wild map, very big map, very complicated map. I played multiple training matches. I played against Kontbai, I played against the Raider of Karoman, played against a lot of Grandmasters. Did I play in Karoman? I think at least Kontbai. I think I played in another one, but I don't remember right now. But I practiced properly for this particular tournament, and I took my time as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get started. That was very flamboyant. I don't know where that came from. I think it was just Sensei's theme. Anyway, so I am player 1, represented by Black Hole. My opponent is player 2, represented by Orange Star. And you can see here that in high funds, the first turn advantage is a bit different to normal matches. My opponent actually starts with 4 infantry. I start with 2. A lot of people are a little confused by this. I'm not going to go into detail, and not only that, like, not only does he start with twice as many infantry as me, but he also starts with a building pre-captured. I'm not an expert on first turn advantage, but I believe that the higher the funds, the more of an advantage you have from going first. So when there's high funds and a lot of properties on the map, you need a bigger first turn advantage than your opponent, to be fair. I mean, someone in the comment section can probably explain it much better than I can. Just look for some nerd with like a bunch of upvotes. They're gonna like give a big wall of text explanation for why it needs to be this way. But TLDR, they've done extensive studying on the maps, and this is kind of what yields the biggest win percentage from both sides. So again, these cruisers right here, they're mostly just going to stand around and kiss for most of the matchup. This is because cruisers can't attack cruisers, obviously. They can in dual strike, but not on Advanced Wars by Web, because it follows kind of like a semi-Advanced Wars 2 rule set. So they're mostly just going to stand around and kiss, but you see, you can attack them with battlecopters, but you don't really want to throw away a battlecopter to take down a pre-deployed cruiser, because it's not like they can do a lot anyway. However, this pre-deployed artillery can do a lot of interesting things. There are basically 2 openers you can decide to do with this one. You can either attack the pipe seam to open it up so that you can get access to your own lab, or you can move the artillery down here and you can actually deny 2 properties from your opponent, which is what I opted to do right here. I don't know why I'm moving my missiles, just to be funny, I guess. So my opponent Rhea, he decides to do the same thing. Obviously, want to go for the neutral bases immediately. Get the black boat as well, so you can go and pick up some infantry and fire them around. He actually decides to move his artillery over here to start shooting down a pipe seam. So he's not trying to deny me these 2 properties, which I think is a bit of a mistake, because keep in mind, this is high funds. 2k income per property. That's 4k income that I'm denying from him right now. And he's not going to have a response to this for quite a while, so this artillery is basically going to lock down these properties for a very, very good time. Very good majority of the match, which is a lot of income in my favor. So I see here that he's not denying my properties, so I'm like, okay, I'm going for this right away. Normally, I would rush the airport first, because getting this airport, it's actually worth property skipping to get this airport, because battlecopters are just that strong on this map. They're incredible. Like, you build a battlecopter here, there are like 3 directions it can go. I mean, technically 4 directions, but it can either go to this front, or it can swing over the river and start harassing over here. This battlecopter has so much flexibility, so I would definitely property skip normally to just go and get this airport immediately. But this time around, I'm seeing that, okay, I was like, maybe he wasn't aware of the base denial, so just in case he changes his mind, I'm just going to grab that property super quick so that I have it. And this artillery that I have over here, it's pretty much just going to stand around and look at the enemy for the entirety of the match. So, my opponent now goes for the airport. That's smart. You want to capture these properties here as well. Both of the comm towers are actually pretty easy to lose. They're not really... Both of them are rather contested, because... I have 1 base here, my opponent has 1 base here. I'd say that Rhea can probably get this one, and I can probably get this one, but the comm towers can actually ping-pong a lot on this particular map. They're not as secure as you might think. So if you're not careful, you might lose a comm tower, and that will swing the fight massively in your opponent's favor. So here, on day 3, I decided to go for the airport. There we go. Just continuing capturing properties. Both players just building infantry right now. I'm moving my black boat over here to pick up an infantry so I can move it over to capture these 2 properties around here. Again, you can see how exposed the labs are. My opponent is breaking down the pipe seam, but I am not. So this means that I don't really have access to my own lab. And my opponent has 2 bases here. So he can very quickly mount an attack on this lab. Of course, with this black boat, you can plonk it down right here to deny ground entry into the lab area. But infantry can still move over the mountains. So... it can definitely be, if you're not prepared for it, then the map can be very HQ rushy. So, my opponent Rhea just capturing some properties now, going for the airport, going for the harbor. This is a very important harbor to take, because as I said, battleships on this harbor guards your lab. And if your opponent is going all in on your lab, you actually have no choice but to build a battleship. Normally, it's a very costly investment, but in high funds, you can kind of get away with it. It's definitely something you should do, and if you lose the harbor, you're going to be at a big disadvantage, because you won't be able to hold your lab. So here, I too decide to go for the airport, and I'm going to grab this property as well, because he's not denying it, so I'm happy to get it. Basically, just getting the properties right now. It's just capture phase, I go for my harbor as well. And yeah, I am pressing wait on every single one of my units because it's a tournament game and I want to make sure that I've moved all of my units. This is incredibly important. So here, Maria's moving down with his first tank, moving it down here. Don't really know what this tank is supposed to accomplish. He could try to threaten the artillery maybe, or to try and apply some pressure to my infantry. But I have a tank here of my own, so as you can see, both of us are just building tanks. On this particular map, artillery can actually be pretty good. But I would say early on, you definitely want to get tanks out to exert map pressure and to threaten captures. Tanks and battlecopters pretty much are what you want to go for in the early stages of this game. Doing a cute little refueling with the black boat there, always love to see it. So now he's moving tanks in, he's pre-building anti-air, and that's very smart because of course I'm going to start spamming battlecopters out of this airport. There are actually 2 airports that you can capture, so of course you just want to pre-build anti-air. It's a very smart thing to do. I probably should have done it myself. If I remember correctly, I do not. So here I go for this property. I'm very happy that he's just letting me get these. I was like, what the hell? What's going on here? Why isn't he trying to deny them? But yeah, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. So here I'm using the black boat to transport my infantry. This actually has another purpose to it. I'm also using the black boat and the infantry to shield the artillery against this upcoming tank, because this tank can move all the way down here and start threatening my artillery. But if I have a black boat here and an infantry here, then this artillery is guarded, and then he can't really apply any more pressure to it. I'm going for the comm tower because I'd like to grab that before it starts getting contested, sending my tank into the center here to deny his properties and to threaten his infantry. I know there's going to be, battlecopters coming out of this airport. Am I building an looking at this map, I really should be building an anti-air this turn. I hope I'm building an anti-air. I mean, I played this match like a couple days ago, so it's still sort of fresh in my mind. I did not build an anti-air. Okay. Definitely, looking back at this match, I should have built an anti-air here, because there is a battlecopter coming out of this airport next turn 100%, so you might as well just prepare for that. It's not like the anti-air doesn't have a purpose, it's also good at fighting on infantry, so yeah. My opponent captures a whole bunch of properties. Now he's going to secure the properties around his island base as well. And here comes the tank, predictably. He's following it up with another tank and moving the anti-air forward because, again, he knows the battlecopter is coming. That's pretty smart. Moving his artillery back. He's successfully blasted open the pipe seam now, so now he can easily reinforce to his lab area. That's not advantage. His advantage is that he can move units more smoothly through this pipe area. My advantage is that I'm denying these 2 properties from him. Which means that eventually I'm going to have a better income than him. Right now, he's still a little bit ahead of me because he starts with more infantry, so obviously he's going to have more properties than me. But as the game evens out and we start to capture all of our properties, I will be 4k ahead of him, and if nothing changes. Battlecopter predictably comes out of the airport. Not very surprising to see that at all. I finished capturing my other property. Very happy that I got these now. Now I'm also going for the comm tower. He's showing no indication of going for his comm tower. So if he's not careful right now, he could actually end up losing his if I successfully... I can deny his comm tower right now. So the fact that he's not going for the comm tower early on is actually a bad thing, I think. So here, I'm getting a little free hit of the infantry. Just a cute little move there. Now I'm finally building the anti-air. The problem, though, with building the anti-air right now is that his battlecopter can just go to the right. So this is why I probably should have built the anti-air 1 turn earlier, so I could have had it here already. But now I'm building it. He's gonna send the battlecopter right 100%, which forces me to build an anti-air here as well. So this is why battlecopters are so strong on this map, because it forces your opponent to build multiple anti-air per battlecopter, because they have to predict that you might just move elsewhere. The anti-air are always nice to have around, but it still kind of sucks that you have to build 2 anti-air in response to a single battlecopter. Of course, there's going to be battlecopters coming out of this airport for every turn, so it's still a good thing. You have to do this. You absolutely have to build multiple anti-air on this map. Air units dominate so much. You're going to see bombers coming out later. You're going to see just how good they are, especially on Adder. So here, he's attempting a bit of a cheeky maneuver right here. Here, he is very much attempting a bit of a cheeky maneuver. Just take a look here. So what is he doing here? He's moving his artillery onto the property, threatening my artillery, and then he's capturing here at the same time, and moving in with the tank and attacking. So this is a funny little maneuver that he's doing. He's applying a lot of pressure here. There's 3 targets for my artillery to shoot at. Who should I target? The tank, the tank, the artillery, or the capturing infantry? I remember seeing this and I was like, oh, he's a cheeky little bugger, this guy. Definitely not just gonna sit around. This guy played really quickly, by the way. I was very, like, this guy was, like, almost playing live. Like, he was making his moves immediately after I actually took some time and studied the map, but he, like, moved immediately. So he's a very fast player, very aggressive, kind of like playing a mini Star Flash of sorts, you know. So, another battlecopter comes out. Again, this is what I was talking about. This is why the black boat is extremely strong on this map. You plunk it down here. This is why I built the artillery, because I knew he was going to do this. So I pre-built an artillery, fully expecting him to do this, because the black boat is like, what are you going to do? The tank deals like 10% damage to that thing. So without artillery support, you're not getting through here. But he's also being pretty cool. He's also being pretty clever, because he's placing the artillery here, which means that if I place my artillery here, he can just withdraw and put the black boat one tile back, which means that it's going to be very slow for me to take him down. So he's defending pretty well here. Day 7 rolls in, and here I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to deal with this? He's capturing here, he's placing an artillery here, and he has a tank here. What to do? So I thought a little bit about it. I capture my comm tower, and I'm very happy I got that. I decided to shoot on his artillery. I spent some time in the move planner doing calcs, and I was like, this can deal either 5 or 6 HP of damage. And I got lucky and I rolled high, which is good for me, because now this artillery is pretty neutered. And I actually decided to send my tank over here to interrupt this. And the reason why is because it's high funds. It's 2k income. So I am actually okay with sending a tank in, letting his tank strike me. If he strikes with the battlecopter, I have an anti-air. But his tank without a comm tower on a plains is going to deal about 5 HP of damage to me. So if we do the maths very quickly, this is 3,500 funds of lost value. I'm going to obviously pull that tank back and repair it, so it's going to come back in a few turns. But meanwhile, I am denying him 2k income per turn. So that means that after 2 days, that will earn itself in. That will mean that means I've denied him 2k income, and I've lost 3,500 points of value in my tank. So if I can keep denying that property, then it's just definitely going to be worth it. So I was okay with doing this. So, and because of the comm tower, I was able to guarantee get this infantry down to 4 HP as well. I think without it, it's pretty likely that it will go down to 5, which means I have 2 entire turns to interrupt this cap to prevent him from getting it. I also decide to be a bit cheeky and put my tank on top of this harbor right here. One of his tanks can strike me, but I have an artillery, and I decided to move my artillery like this. So now the artillery is guarding the tank. This area is too tightly defended for my taste, so I was just, alright, let's go up here and see if I can take the harbor from him, because if I can deny him his harbor, then he's actually in a heap of trouble. You mentioned, you saw earlier me talk about how important battleships are on this map. I have my harbor, he doesn't have his harbor. So if I can deny his harbor, then that's pretty much GG actually. That happened in one of my training matches. So I'm just shifting my forces away here, guarding my anti-air so it doesn't get destroyed, because he does have a battlecopter here. But as you can see, this anti-air, I will have my power next turn. This is why I was confident doing this. But I am moving my infantry in range of his anti-air. And here, if I remember correctly, yeah, here I get a bit of a free shot with the battlecopter. Pretty happy about that. Placing my own tank on the city right here with the artillery backing it up. Even if he gets his side slip, he's not going to be able to side slip around here. So this tank is pretty much safe, denying this property. And more importantly, I'm also setting it up to deny the comm tower, because I know he's going to move towards the comm tower next turn. He might get his power if we take a bunch of engagements, but I have a tank in range to deny him his comm tower, and I'll get the airport as well. I'm pretty happy about that. And here, I decide to build the battleship. Why? Because he has 2 tanks, anti-air coming in. This battleship cannot move, but it locks down pretty much the entire left section of the map. Not only will it be able to destroy this tank, but it will ward away this tank, and also it will deny his infantry from capturing this property. So this battleship is 28,000. It's a big investment, but it's a small price to pay to make sure that your lab is safe. Because now, what is he really going to do with these forces? He can't really attack into the battleship. That's just not going to work out. So I like my positioning now, pretty much. I think I'm in a good spot. He does attack my artillery, but keep in mind, I have a black boat. I can repair it. So it's not really that big of a deal. He even sends his tank around. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, I kind of forgot he did that. Yeah, all right, interesting. He's going to throw away the tank, though, but I guess he's going to get these 2 properties eventually. And he does actually go for uses the battlecopter to kill my tank, which I was a little bit surprised by that. I was very surprised by that, actually. And even attacks my battlecopter with his infantry. I was very puzzled by this move. I don't really know. I think he was going for his power? That's the only thing I can really think about, because, yeah, I don't really know why he'd attack my battle. It's a weird move. It's a weird move. Yeah, he was definitely charging up his power. I think it was to move this? Yeah, it was to move this. He wanted the extra movement to attack my tank here. Don't know how much I agree with that, if I'm going to be completely honest. But it does allow him to get some nice strikes against me, as you can see right here. Moves his artillery in as well. Gets a bunch of captures out of it, so it's a cute side slip. Even gets to deny my capture right here and attack my comm tower. So yeah, I mean, it's a cheeky move. He is also able to attack. He's also able to capture the comm tower this turn thanks to the side slip. So it's a pretty cute maneuver, actually. It's a pretty cute maneuver, and he builds a bomber, which is a huge mistake. This was probably the biggest mistake he made of the match, because I'm addered. And sure, he counted the spaces. And he was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even with side slip, he doesn't reach me. But look at my power bar. I'm not gonna pop side slip, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm about to pop. Day 8 rolls in, and I'm like, ooh, if I can get my Sidewinder, this bomber's toast. So I attack a battlecopter. Strike this tank with the battleship. Finishes capturing my property, gets another strike off, and then, ladies and gentlemen, I do it. I do it.
Sidewinder!
2 extra movement, baby! Oh, this felt good. Oh, this felt good. It's not often you pop Sidewinder, but Poland taught me the value of Sidewinder. I even get to capture this harbor now. And, not only that, I also get to strike his artillery over here, which felt really good. Look at that, and I get... Honestly, he should have probably... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Okay, it wouldn't matter if he places anti-air, but now I get to deny his comm tower as well. And look, he doesn't have any infantry here. He has no infantry presence here whatsoever. So he's not going to be able to get this comm tower for a very long while. Yeah, I don't know why he's attacking in here. It's not going to happen. It's completely pointless. But yeah, the Sidewinder are pretty good. I'm even able to box in this tank here, which I thought was pretty funny. And this artillery is kind of like walking around like a headless chicken, but at least I figured I could start bursting down his pipes here. And I'm moving my black boat up here. And the cruiser's just not doing anything. But it's fine. They're still doing their job. Get some tanks out and a battlecopter. And that was a pretty good turn for me, I'd say. I took down his bomber, or at least I reduced it down to 4 HP. I interrupted a bunch of caps. I'm now threatening him here. You know, I'm pushing him away in this area. He will eventually get these 2 properties now because my artillery is dead, but I'm also like completely denying him his comm tower, which does matter quite a lot in an engagement such as this. Predictably, I do lose the anti-air, which is fine. He even deals some damage to my anti-air, but it's still actually going to repair itself up to 4 HP, which means that it will be able to ward away this bomber, which I was very happy about. The bomber, of course, predictably goes to the right. Of course it does. And he builds another bomber right away. I think this is smart, honestly. It's actually a pretty good move. I mean, bombers are really strong on this map. But still, he needs to be very careful. So he continues to move units down here despite my battleship, which I think is a bit of a mistake. I don't know if I agree with this, but he has to pull back from his comm tower at least, so that's good. But he's in a heap of trouble right now. Because, again, he's not getting the comm tower, and he doesn't have it. Yeah, now he's building. He only has a single base here to build infantry, which is scary. It's pretty scary. And this tank is dead as well. That's fine. And yeah, day 9 rolls in, ladies and gentlemen. And if we take a look at this map right now, they say I definitely have the advantage. He has a big unit count lead, though, just because he's been very adept at pulling away units. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so I get my airport, which is very nice. I take down his bomber, or almost. I bring it down to 1 HP, which means he can still block, which is kind of annoying, but I do need to get more anti-air out. But it's fine, because I have 2 bases in this area, so I can build 1 anti-air in another unit. Chipping down his artillery with my infantry, practically rendering it worthless. Here I'm moving a tank in to finish off his infantry, because I realize that every infantry I kill in this region is going to be very good for me. Capture his property. The battleship is just continuing to gobble up free infantry. At this point, he really should just be pulling away, I think. And I continue to surround his tank because I like being cheeky like that. Guarding my artillery a little bit. I really want to try and get these properties. I realize I'm not going to get this harbor. But at the very least, I want to try and get this property before I pull away. I realize he's going to get this harbor back, and he's definitely going to get a battleship out. That's going to happen. I build a Neo-Tank because, again, he has, like, tanks in the area. 3 tanks, I'm like, yeah, might as well get a Neo-Tank out. I'm expecting him to apply a lot of pressure to my comm tower now. Battlecopter comes in. Here, I decide to apply a little bit of pressure to his lab because my artillery is currently shooting it down. I also have to move my cruiser away because the bomber can one-shot the cruiser. And I definitely don't just want to lose my cruiser, so... Heap up side slip. Another side slip. He side slips into my DMs. He gets this property right now, which is good. And he's doing a decent job defending here. But here, I actually believe he's makes a huge blunder because... I think... I was looking at this for a long time. Let's just see what he does, and then I'm going to show you what I think he could have done to actually guarantee getting the comm tower. So, he moves like this. Alright, pulls back. Builds the battleship. That's smart. He has to build a battleship. I mean, if he doesn't build a battleship, he's just losing on this end. So I definitely expected that he would. He's overreacting a little bit. He's pulling a lot of units over to his lab. And he's moving his bomber in as well. But keep in mind, I do have this missile right here, which actually guards this area against this bomber, which is kind of nice. He goes, again, he continues to try and capture this property with my battleship here. I don't really know why he felt the need to send so many infantry to their deaths. Poor man. When I'm criticizing your infantry play, you got a problem. He continues to hug my cruiser. The cruiser just goes back to kissing. So, yeah, once he's done with his turn here, we're going to take a look at like how he moved. So, we're going to go back a turn. As I was looking at this, I was like, I think there's a way for him to actually like get this comm tower and deny me from taking it back. So, what he could have done, he moved his infantry. Let's see what he did. So he moved his infantry over here. But I'm wondering if what he could have done in this situation is he could have, because he was side slipping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He could have side slipped his. He could have side slipped his tank over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he could have side slipped this tank over there. Then he could have captured here. Then he could have placed his infantry here. I think with the 2 HP infantry, I don't think I'm quite capable of dealing 1 HP of damage to him when he has his power up. I think I might just be barely shy of it. And then what he could have done is he could have also placed his copter here, so that if my anti-air wanted to shoot down the copter, there's still 2 units blocking the airport. Now, or sorry, the comm tower. Now, of course, I still have my Neo-Tank, and if I get my side slip this turn, I will get a 1 extra movement. But since he has his powers up, I don't actually think the Neo-Tank is guaranteed to one-shot the tank on planes with 10% extra defense. Not sure, I would need to look at some calcs, but looking at this, I do think he had the capacity to take my comm tower, but he didn't. He blundered. And he moved his tank up here, which just gives my anti-air a very easy shot here. So I was happy about that because I'm going to get this comm tower now, which means I'll have a 20% firepower advantage. And that's huge in a mixed space map, and especially on a massive map like this. So here, I don't really know why he moved his anti-air over there. I get a free shot with my battlecopter, which is nice. And I pop my side slip as well. Get a nice shot with my anti-air here. Yeah, the missile does not protect my Neo-Tank, but it does protect my anti-air from his bomber and battlecopter. So that's nice. And I continue to gobble up a bunch of free infantry over here. And I get his comm tower, and there's actually not a single way he can get this back now. He has no units in range, even if he had side slip right now, which he doesn't. There's no way he can deny this. So I'm pretty much guaranteed to have 2 comm towers, which is pretty massive. You saw how effective that was in the first Quack match. So here, I take a shot with my anti-air because, of course, And I'm not able to kill the artillery, which is a little bit annoying. But here I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to pull back here. There's no point in moving into this battleship range. And also, he doesn't have a single infantry coming for this property, so I can just pull back. It's going to take him, like, what, 4 turns to get an infantry all the way down here? And by that time, I will probably have won this front. So I'm not making the mistake that he is with this battleship. I'm just pulling away. I'm not taking engagements inside that thing. And now I have 2 airports over here just churning out battlecopters, which will give me complete dominance of this area. He doesn't have the base capacity over here. He needs to build anti-air over here now. Otherwise, he's just going to get swept up. I built, like, a lot of artillery this match. I don't really know if that was the play. I don't know why I built so many artillery, honestly. I guess I wanted to blast down some more pipe seams. I think I also wanted to blast down this pipe seam so I could protect my own lab if need be. But here, he's going in. I have a battlecopter down here now, which is pretty cute. I think he's going to get to strike that, though, isn't he? No, actually, he's not. Yeah, I was calculating the extra movement from sideslip even. No, I think I was just looking at his power bar. Yeah, he's pretty far away from getting a sideslip right now because of the fatigue and everything. So there we go. And my black boat is beautifully covering this entry right here, and he doesn't have any artillery, so that's a bit of a mistake. He built so many bombers that I think he was foregoing a lot of pressure elsewhere. And here I realized that he has to start shifting forces over here to attack my comm tower. But what is he really going to do? He only has a single base. I have 2 airports, 1 base. I can build 2 battlecopters and a tank every turn. So I will overrun him over here. And here, he actually quits capturing the comm tower to get my anti-air, which... that's fine, but what is he really going to do here? I was expecting him to combine them together, actually. And I think this would have probably been the play. Combine the infantry, capture, combine together to 8, use a tank to destroy, and then, if I... Of course, I do have my missile guarding my Neo-tank if I attack from here, but he can still kill it. It's a 22k unit for a 22k unit, so it's a good trade for him, honestly. So I was very surprised to see him forego that capture and just, like, handing me the comm tower on a silver platter. He could have definitely taken it back, I think. Very nice use of the 1 HP bomber right here. I like that. That's cute. And now he's sending his bomber up here. And the reason why he's doing this is because he's blasting down this pipe seam with his artillery. And once he blasts it open, the bomber can swoop in and then threaten both my battleship and my cruiser, which is very nasty. Day 11 rolls in, and here I get a little feisty. I take a shot at his anti-air with my battlecopter, and I start attacking over here. I also capture here because you always want to combine. You always want to capture when you attack to to force your opponent to spread out, basically. But I do make a few pretty big mistakes on this turn, if I remember correctly. This is all good, I think. Again, keeping my Neo-tank in range of my missile. This pre-deployed missile actually ended up being very nice. But now he has no... I can just pull back now, and he won't be able to get this comm tower. It will take him way too long. He was having a severe... He was throwing away so many infantry over here. I built a fighter because, again, fighters are pretty necessary at this point. With 2 airports churning out battlecopters and bombers, you gotta have some fighters. There's pretty much nothing you can do about that. But here, I'm just pulling back because I'm confident that whatever happens, I'll be able to interrupt this comm tower. But I do make some pretty big mistakes. So I put some infantry here just to ward him away. And here, yeah, this is a massive mistake. I attack with a battlecopter. This pretty much gives him a free hit because his battlecopters can just attack me, and they're covered behind the mountains. So he can. This is a free hit for him. So I remember looking at this and being like, this kind of sucks. So just throwing away a very nice battlecopter. Also throwing away an infantry there. I just randomly placed an infantry in range of his battleship. So that was, I was not happy about that. But oh well, what can you do? He continues to attack my battlecopter with his infantry. I don't really know why he keeps doing that. Such a weird thing to do. Like, those infantry are valuable, man. Don't just throw them away. I can't believe I'm saying this. This I like, though. This is cute. Placing the bomber, 1 HP bomber here in this pipe seam, this forces me to either use my fighter or build an anti-air to deal with it. And this fighter wants to go elsewhere. So, and now he's attacking. He's sending a lot of units towards my my lab right now. And I'm like, is he really going to attack my lab? He builds a medium tank because he has to. Although, I think maybe an anti-air would be better. Although I have 3 tanks in the area. So, yeah, he definitely needs some tanks. Now he's pulling his units back to get repaired, which is nice. And yeah, sorry, this pipe seam is dead. It's just not registered. This is a bug with the replay viewer. I'm sorry for, like, harping on the creator. Like, this apparently isn't his mistake at all. His name is Demon Hunter, and he made the replay viewer. Apparently, it has something to do with how Advanced Wars by Web stores its code. It's way too technical for me to go into detail, but based on what I read in the comments, the way that it stores code and the way it saves replays is kind of weird in interaction with pipe seams, so the replay viewers take a couple turns to update itself. But yeah, this pipe seam is destroyed. It'll probably be destroyed at the end of this turn, I think. So yeah, he's been shooting on it with his artillery, moving in with his bomber. This bomber, as long as this black battleship is on a harbor, it can withstand a single bomber shot without taking too much damage, but the second shot will bring it pretty low. So, and he just resigns. He just resigns. So I remember looking at this and I was like, wow, that's a bit premature. I sent him a message and I was like, man, really? That's he was like, yeah, this game's lost. So I was a bit surprised. I mean, I don't think I'm clearly ahead with 2 comm towers. There's no denying that. But he does have a unit count lead over me. We're tied on income. I feel like there was a play for him to come back from this. Now looking at the map, I am clearly in the superior situation here. Just the comm towers alone makes this a big uphill battle for him. But I think if I were in his shoes, I would have played a couple more turns at least, just to see if there was some openings presenting itself. I'm not beyond making stupid mistakes, so. But, yeah. I thought this meant I won the entire Quack Cup, but that's actually not the case. Turns out, now that I've won my division, now I'm gonna have to face the winners of all the other divisions in a round-robin matchup. That means I'm gonna be playing against multiple opponents at once, and then, if I beat all of the other winners of the other divisions, then I will be the winner of the Quack Cup. So, I've only qualified for the finals, if you will. I was a bit unclear on this. I thought this meant I actually won. But no, I've earned the right to compete against the other winners. So there's still quite a few games left of the Quack Cup. I haven't won it yet, but I'm in a good position to win it, I'd say. Because, not to toot my own horn, but these kind of matches is where I really shine, I think. Because I love mixed base high funds. It's great fun. So, yeah, maybe I'll get that trophy. Hope you guys enjoyed this match. This might be the last time you see the apartment, maybe. So, bye apartment. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.